we may exist in different genres. I play Guilty Gear, and they play Hearthstone. But let's be real. There's a lot of similarities when you play Faust. Your goal, as the great Nage would say, is to summon Yogg-Saron, pulling items to pull more items until the game is just handed to you. And today I draw inspiration from content creators from that side of YouTube. This is Krackatoa's patch note review using a star system. We'll go note by note, change by change, and give it a rating from 1 to 5. Please enjoy. But first, some numbers. If you hit the like button, approximately 44 SageM viewers will be forced to see my video in their YouTube recommendations. If you would like to commit recommendation feed violence, you know what to do. We made it. All right. You've made it. Welcome. First things first, changes to Roman cancels. All right. Fast RC got a ton of changes. All right. Fast RC now triggers slowdown. Fast RC now occurs sooner. These mixed together make anything involving PRC snip very, very terrifying. The snip is now safer. It's harder to react to. Super PRC notably gets a buff here. And for some reason, Fast RC now uses less meter. I'm not sure how that's going to play into Super PRC, but we're going to find out, I guess, on patch day. I rate this 4 out of 5. All right, next change. So on the less crazy side of things, we also have PRC no longer extending block stun on contact, block stun or hit stun. This didn't really benefit Faust that much before, given the way his pressure was structured. So this being a universal change probably helps him more than it hurts, just because it takes those options away from other opponents. 1 out of 5. Red Roman cancel has a scaling change, and I'm unsure how that's going to factor into things, but I give that a 2 out of 5, just because we haven't seen any of the damage pan out. I think with the changes Arxis has made, it will balance out. So you're not going to see like a huge impact. You might see some combos become stronger, some become weaker, but overall, we can't really know until the patch drops. All right, here's a weird one, and I don't quite understand how it's supposed to work. They say that special moves can be overdrive canceled before they connect. I don't know if that means Faust can throw an item and then super cancel it. If he can, that's very strong. Just for him in general. I'm sure other characters have different things they might be able to do with regards to like Kara super or something to that effect. Especially like Pot doing like Kara Heavenly Pot Buster. But overall, if it works like that, that is I'd say it's a 3 out of 5 change for Faust. If it's just some like weird, like teeny tiny Kara window just to like help ease inputs or something to that effect, then it's just a 1 out of 5. It's not a huge change. All right. So now we're here. I've been wanting this change for a while. It's not like crazy, and it's probably going to be more useful at high level play when you're doing a lot of like little fiddly things on defense. But FD macro is now going to be available. And that is great for 2 reasons. One, IBFD fuzzy jump becomes much more, it just becomes easier to do cleanly. And that's great for a sweat lord like myself. I'm very sweaty. But there's also some interesting option selects you can do where you buffer FD macro and a normal together. And if they cross up, you get FD. And if they go behind you, you get like 6p or something. And the macro allows you to freely buffer different normals alongside FD in those situations. So there's just a lot of room to explore. I give this a 4 out of 5. I'm very excited. Now we're getting into some good stuff. All right, so as you might have heard, all P and K normals now cause counter hit slowdown. I'm just giving this immediately 5 out of 5. This is so important, and it helps Faust more than other characters. It's like, oh, Ram can now do some sick ass conversions from her like counter hit 5p or something, and it's like cool. But she already had stuff she could represent in that situation. Faust had nothing. If he was placed at even if he was like +1 at mid range, he had nothing to discourage people just like mashing on their most optimal starter. So this is like so huge. This is probably the largest change. This is more than anything else in this little video. This is the most important change. The fact that 2p can now like counter hit and give him frame advantage, or a combo maybe a confirm into 6p, his 5k on air hit or on ground hit, like leading into a confirm of some kind. There's just so much going on with this. It's going to take us some time to digest. I'm very excited. 5 out of 5. So Faust got dash cancelable close S and dash cancelable 5k like everyone else in the game. The close S is like, I'd say not as big of a deal as it seems, because on air block he was already fairly plus if he managed to catch someone jumping. The thing reached really high up, so being able to dash cancel it, he could just recover and then run in, even with the recovery, because of the extra block stun on landing, right? But 5k is a little different. That move, that's a 7-frame move with very little whiff recovery. And before, it didn't cause a lot of block stun, and it would land from far out. And so you could be plus, but you weren't like crazy plus. With this, hitting 5k, being able to reaction forward dash, and being like right smack dab back in their face, that is terrifying. That is absolutely nuts. This is a 4 out of 5 change. Very strong. Oh. All right, so now we've made it to the Faust-specific buffs, okay? So I'm going to go through these, I'm going to give them the star rating, and then I'm going to explain why they're good. This is going to be kind of messed up. I'm just going to do these ones rapid fire, I think, and just give you my thoughts. I think this is going to be, there's some good ones in here. All right, let's go. 6p launching higher, 4 out of 5. This will give us better combo opportunities, probably into mix in a lot of situations you wouldn't get previously. Also, just for consistency's sake, it also makes your item toss better. If you anti-air counter hit with 6p, right, and it launches them higher, they take longer to recover, right, because they travel. So in a sense, doing like counter hit 6p, item toss just got better. So overall, this is a very strong change. It's probably just like a slight height increase, but every extra frame helps in some capacity. So we get better combos, probably into mix, and our item toss game off a successful anti-air, much better. Standing K hitbox got a lot lower. That's just a 3 out of 5. It's good. It helps in a lot of matchups, certainly, especially against Geo, who's very small. But I don't think it's going to be as low as people suspect. 5k is really high up. I don't think it's going to start hitting crouching opponents left and right. Maybe Pot, maybe Gold Lewis, maybe Nago, the tall boys. But generally, I just think this is going to make harassing characters with Afro more consistent, and Geo's not going to be able to challenge the 5k as effortlessly as before. Yeah, let's put it that way. Close S, reduced recovery. That is a 2 out of 5 change. It's useful. It's not going to be as crazy as you think. People will be like, oh, his close S is -4, blah, blah, blah. This character's close S is -1, blah, it's so much better. It's not as crazy as you think. If you want more information on why that is, you can go watch recon.mp4. It's a video that dives into like why close S recovery matters and what it affects. Essentially, it means your tick throws from close S are going to be more threatening. It's going to be easier to snipe counterplay with the 2S frame trap. But honestly, like a few small changes aren't going to like make or break the character here. So it's good. It certainly makes his offense stronger, but it's not like, whoa, this is game changing. It's just a good change. Var S recovery buff with a hurtbox reduction. So it's probably a little disjoint now. Where this affects things the most is super max range and doing a single raw Var S on block, right? I rate this probably around 3 out of 5. It's a good change. It's a solid change. And it also bolsters the situation where Faust is weakest. You can generally consider your opponent blocking your Var S or your 2H as like disadvantageous situations. With the way dash blocking works in this game and Faust's on block options, he doesn't want those normals blocked. So normally you're like doing Var S, it's super minus. You try to threaten their approach after Var S with the 2H, but both of those options kind of suck. With raw Var S being more safe, less disadvantageous on block, depending on how much they change it, that's going to make challenging forward approach less risky. And that's good. That's a very good thing. Crouching SS launches higher. Now, I think they were talking about crouching HS, crouching heavy slash, or 2H. I rate this 3 out of 5 as a change. If they're referring to something else, well, Arxis fixed your patch notes, all right? This is super useful. I actually wanted this for a long time, this change, so this is kind of funny to see it now. It makes me feel validated in my, let's say, Twitter moaning, right? So what this does is it makes mix from 2H more consistent. It also makes Var S 2H fast RC mix as a pickup more consistent. It makes 2H super more consistent. There's a lot tied to the 2H launch, and if this is indeed 2H and not like 2S or something with some weird ass changes, this is just gonna like bolster Faust's conversion across the board. This is super good, very quality of life change. I like it a lot. 3 out of 5. Our boy is back. 6H stagger back from beta. 5 out of 5 for violence's sake. This is kind of messed up. Like, this was really good. This is really good. You might even be able to combo raw hit 6H into scalpel at like full screen. That's messed up. At the very least, you could probably do something like 6H scarecrow PRC afro, which is really nuts. The reason why this probably came back is because Arxis realized that when they removed the stagger from beta, on normal hit, currently, pre-patch, 6H is completely punishable. It is a punishable on hit move. So it's kind of like a joke move. It's punishable on block, it's punishable on hit. If you do counter hit someone or they block it in the air, actually not even in the air in all matchups. It's a sucky move. The move sucks. So now that's not the case. Now this move is gassed. All right. You are going to commit war crimes with this. If you hit someone with this in bracket at an event, it's like, it's a reactable move, right? It's a reactable overhead. It hits on like frame 27 to 29 or something, but people are looking at items. They're looking at other places on the screen. They're thinking about your mom. This thing will steal the soul out of whoever you dome. All right? I want you to understand that. It's so slow and so dumb, and now it does a lot of damage on normal hit that if, they have to block it. And if they don't, they're going to hate themselves. P and K, jumping P and K, I should say, get better conversions now on hit. So that's a 3 out of 5. Faust has a lot of anti-airs going for him already, and he did have some okay conversions from these normals already. So like he was already in a pretty comfortable situation, but I'm curious to see, I suspect we might see some really cool pickups from these normals, especially with the air counter hit change. So you might actually see in air-to-air situations, some kind of like buff conversions. So I'm super excited to see how that pans out. That's a 3 out of 5, pretty good. Dive kick does some amount of extra damage. It didn't get a frame data change. It's not a higher attack level. 1 out of 5. It's still very unsafe. It still has use. Check load jump2k.mp4 for more information. Thanks, Arxes. You're the best. Jump age. Hurtbox reduction. It's more disjoint now, like the old one in the old games. That's good. So this will help Faust in a lot of situations. I rate this 3 out of 5. Usually when people are putting out lots of persistent hitboxes in air states, it was very hard to challenge with jump age because it's not disjoint at all pre-patch. It's just like a big old hurtbox. So this makes air-to-air better. This also makes falling with the jump H at a distance more powerful, whether that's from air dash or just like a forward jump. So I'm interested to see how that harasses and bullies different characters, especially when they're trying to play around items. This is pretty good. Mix, consistency changes. 5 out of 5. 5 out of 5. Finally. So mixed with all the other changes to your normals in this video, in this list, whatever, I see a lot of our problems surrounding mix going away. At super max range, you still might not get the pickup you want, like the close S mix loop. That might still be out there, but at least you won't be dropping them out of the combo. So that's good. Off sour spot, like, you know, you combo like 6H in the corner, you do mix. Sometimes it only hits 3 times and it doesn't launch. That's been fixed. Comboing from mix off air hit, that's been fixed. Going off like doing cross up mix and not getting the directions just like perfect, that's been fixed. So there's a lot happening here. There's also a small change with regards to how they're pulled along with you. And that one's going to look kind of silly because I suspect if you cross up with mix and keep piloting away from them, you're actually going to pull them along and you might actually get a mix loop anyways. Like they're going to like bounce along with you and then you can actually like hit them with close S and send them in the other direction. Very consistent, very fun. We'll see if that's true when the patch drops. Banana peel no longer hits multiple characters. 0 out of 5. I'm very disappointed in you, Arxes. I think you've lost sight of the spirit of items, alright? Afro explosion. Now guard crushes. What the fuck were you thinking? Oh my god. This is okay. So I said 6H stagger was war crimes. This is war crimes. This is like, holy. You are about to be sent to the gulag. Your friends are not going to want to play with you. You're going to get people throwing controllers in bracket. It's just like all bets are off. This is the dumbest. This is so stupid. I don't know why they did this. I guess they felt bad for Faust. They're like, oh, you know, just absolutely nuts. If you want an explanation as to why this is good, you can go watch betterafros.mp4. All of that still works, except now after you do it, if they manage to block your entire mix-up, you get another 50-50. And just to make things even better, right? Meteors now bounce the opponent on hit. I was thinking of rating this 4 out of 5, but I might actually bump it up to 5 out of 5. And the reason is, this is a move that is already kind of dumb, all right? Every hit is a guard crush, right? So the what ends up happening is it's very hard to block this correctly. If all hits connect on the opponent, like 1 to 5 hits, and it all happens over a period of time, it's extremely hard to like block it if Faust decides to cross you up. It's like almost impossible. It's more than a 50-50. It's actually messed up. Just the way guard crush, auto guard works, there's a bunch of mechanics involved that makes blocking cross up Scarecrow during meteors kind of messed up. And what I would tell players before is that, well, if you get airborne, at least he can't combo. Well, now he can combo. He can combo on air hit, he can combo from the ground. If they still guard crush, this is messed up. If they remove the guard crush, if that's no longer there, then this is technically like a side change, like buff nerf, but they didn't say they removed guard crush. So this is messed up. This is absolutely messed up. Our little boy, right? Mini Faust, Chibi Faust, all right? He now activates sooner after being hit. I rate this 4 out of 5. Yeah, this is a very good change, very impactful change. But depending on the startup, like the actual startup, right? They say he has a startup reduction, right? He gets hit, he has a little temper tantrum, he goes haywire, right? He goes sicko mode on the opponent, just launches himself. Depending on how severe the reduction is in startup is going to change how powerful this is. If someone hits Chibi Faust with a level 4 move, right, that is very slow to recover, or do they take guaranteed damage, right? That's a big deal. Is it like easy to disable them? Is it easy to like hit them and then counterplay, or is it really, really difficult? You have to remember on ground hit, like Faust pickup options and opportunities now, with especially with like 6H getting mega buffed and like all this other stuff, like this matters a lot more than it used to. So he's already getting buffed to take advantage of Mini Faust. But now the Mini Faust turns on sooner after being clipped. And so that introduces a situation similar to Scapegoat from Happy Chaos, right? You know, you hit the Scapegoat, the clone, and then he smacks you in recovery, right? You kind of like operate like that now in that space. Think about that. It's not like identical in how it functions, but that the severity and what it does to neutral is very similar. And that's messed up. So this is very strong. I'm scared. Scarecrow comes out faster and can be held and then released whenever you want. So we'll have to wait and see how fast it is, and like how long do you have to wait to get the plus frames on it, right? So there's still a lot of like questions we have to ask, right? Because before, how it worked before was it could either come out quick and be minus, or slow and be plus, and that was it. So we need to like wait to see how this pans out, but it is getting an overall startup buff, so that's good. So this is going to be playing better with items. It's going to be playing better in neutral if you just want to do it raw. I don't know how good that's going to be. I rate this 3 out of 5. We will have to wait and see how that pans out. That's going to be really interesting. That's good. Thrust, Ray Thrust, right? The Genki Green, all right? Got a hurt box reduction. So it's now a little disjoint at a distance. So when you go and throw it full screen at your opponent to harass them, maybe like clip an Axel or harass Nago, right? There's a lot of counterplay normally. They can just like wait around and then 6P it on reaction. Now, usually when you get a hurt box reduction like this, what ends up happening is the move will clash more with like moves that will like intersect with it. And that's very good for you. Cancel options from 6P at a long range in this game are not that scary, right? So you might be able to do like scalpel, buffer, item toss. And if they go to 6P the scalpel, you just get an item. It just works. You could also buffer like FD and stuff. So this isn't going to answer. It's not going to stop you from dying at mid-range for doing thrust. It's not going to stop you from dying doing thrust and block strings. Like that's all still got like easy mode, like just reaction 6p counterplay. That's all good. But at super max range, this makes it much safer to throw out. It'll be interesting to see how severe the changes are. Love. All right. More damage and an early PRC window. I rate this 1 out of 5. It is interesting, but given the cost that comes along with spending 50 bar, this will probably only help you. The damage is irrelevant, but the early PRC will probably help you escape the corner in some situations, which Faust wanted to do. He'd like to jump, he could throw love, PRC it, and like mix away. That's much stronger now, but given the rest of his buffs to his kit, that might not actually be like mandatory anymore. So I think it's kind of an irrelevant change. There will be some like cool setups you can do with it, but outside of maybe like Afro Love, and even then it's like not that big of a deal. I'm just like, doesn't seem that crazy. It's not like super game changing. All right. So we come to the very end, and we've got some quality of life changes for bone-crushing excitement, the Shin Taker. It's got a bigger hitbox. It's easier to combo in certain situations. So after like 6H bounce in the corner, like on air hit, sometimes you would go under the opponent and it would just whiff. So that's probably going to be much easier to combo. So no big deal. It also will break the wall more consistently now. I know there was still some leftover bugs from a bygone era, right? Sometimes you would do super near the corner and it still wouldn't break. That should be fixed. We'll see. Either way, this is a 2 out of 5. So in closing, it's safe to say we're eating quite well this patch. Our character got a ton of buffs, and Faust probably benefited more than other characters with regards to the universal system changes. Offense is up across the board. Defense is buffed across the board as well, with some changes to FD. You will still, even if your character is like super buff, even if Faust is considered like mid to top tier going forward, you can still get demolished if you don't know what you're doing. So don't feel too bad if you're still getting washed by certain players or certain characters. He's still going to have the occasional bad matchup, I think. But he's going to be a lot more consistent. So I'm looking forward to playing. I hope you are too. Whenever this goes up, the patch should drop by then, maybe. Drops in a few hours, from my perspective. I made this last minute. I was just like, oh man, wouldn't a card game be fun? Card game video. Yeah, that's it. Like, follow, share the video. That would be nice. That'd be cool. Appreciate it. I'll be streaming the game. I'll be streaming on Twitch. You might also see me on the Steam front page or the store page. I got the hookup for that. So that's going to be interesting. Anyways, y'all have a good day. That's it. That's all. And as always, thanks for watching.